How's it going, my truant people? Dr. Slacking, the Slacking Doctor, back with the first round of playoffs in the PEBA, that's PEBA. This week we're going up against my man Oscar, I'm coach of Team Slask. You've probably seen me and him battle an owl by now. This battle was actually done the day before our battle in an owl. He's an awesome player. We played him in the regular season, we won. Just in what was a really tough fought game. So we're going up against him again here in the first round of playoffs. He is one of the Swedes, one of the scary Swedes, so not an opposition you ever want to play. And Oscar is known, well, in my opinion, I always think Oscar outdoes himself when he's in pressure situations. So definitely nervous going up against him in playoffs where it's a big pressure situation. And I'm going to quickly try and talk through the team. We have a sort of speedy, bulky Jellicent with, I think, quite a lot of Spadef and Taunt to try and shut down the Sylveon. Also with just like Scold and Hex, so that we can try and burn some of the physical threats in this team, and a Hex can kind of put in some big damage on like Sylveon, for example, start wearing it down, and then recover for longevity. We have a Celebi hiding here behind Metagross that you can't really see. This is a Fizz Def Celebi. I think the idea being that it can take a lot of hits from Steelix and Giga Drain it down. This is Mega Steelix, by the way, Giga Drain it down. Then we have a Shuckerberry Metagross, so that we can, and pretty bulky as well, so that we can definitely take a hit from even like a +2 Earthquake from a Dragon Dancing Dragonite, and we can Ice Punch him to Oblivion. We also have Rocks on this set to make sure Rocks get up. We have Earthquake to try and hit the Steelix, just to get some chip on that. Meteor Mash to hit the Sylveon, and I think actually we have quite a lot of a little bit of Spadef so that we can take on the Sylveon as well. So just generally pretty bulky. Then we have Slacking. I traded for my boy Slacking before playoffs because I had Luxray all season, hadn't used it once, and I was like, do you know what? We're going to trade for Slacking. PBA got delayed a lot. So like we were playing so much later than I intended to, which meant that I just really didn't have the time with everything else going on to focus on the PEBA anymore. So I was like, do you know what? If I'm going to go out in the first round of playoffs because I don't have a lot of time, I may as well go out with my man Slacking. Or if I'm going to win and go a little bit further, I might as well win and go a little bit further with Slacking. So my intention was just like, yeah, let's just bring it to the first round of playoffs, see what happens. If it does well, I might keep bringing it to the rest of the playoffs games, and you guys will have to see how it does. But that was my kind of thinking. May as well just give it a go and have some fun. Then we got Infernape. This is a Scarf. Oh, sorry, I should say the Slacking set is a Silk Scarf, Giga Impact, Facade, in case we get burnt by like the Rotom or something, with a Will-O-Wisp, for example. I actually prepped for Rotom Fan because on the dock it just said Rotom F. So I don't know, I just thought Rotom Fan. Didn't know it was Rotom Frost. So that was a bit of a, ooh, when I saw the team preview. Didn't really make too much difference, but it just caught me off guard. Meant that I didn't have any switch-ins to Ice like I would have wanted, or as good switch-ins to Ice as I would have wanted, which I wasn't really prepped for. And then its other moves were Earthquake and Pursuit. The idea being I could Pursuit Trap something that he didn't bring, I'm going to say, and I'm not sure what it was. Lati, I think he has a Lati. I think he has a Latias. So we were trying to Pursuit Trap the Latias, I think. Not 100% sure on that, though. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he does. I think he does. No, he doesn't, because Isaac has Latias. Either way, I was trying to Pursuit Trap something. Doesn't really matter. Then we have a U-Turn Scarf Infernape. Now, this is a mixed set, so it has U-Turn. It looks physical at first if you don't bother to run the calcs, which you might not do. But then it actually has Flamethrower, Focus Blast, and Gunk Shot. So it is a mixed set. The idea being Gunk Shot really chunks down Sylveon, kills it from about 50%, I think. And special means that Flamethrower and Focus Blast are going to hit the Steelix, the Swellow, the Zarok. God damn it, Zarok. There we go. And the Rotom Frost, as it turns out, actually gets hit by its stabs, I guess. And the Dragonite is pretty much going to wall me, but I can U-turn out on it and get some chip and break its multi-scale for my Ice Punching Metagross, which is always has to be preserved to check this Dragonite. Then last up we have Mandibuzz, which is just like I think it's like a U-turn Roost Defog set. Just supposed to be bulky. Maybe, I think it has Brave Bird to hit something, but I'm not quite sure what. So that's what we have that for. And that's the team. So I decided to lead with Charlotte because I think that his likely leads look possibly Rotom Frost, look possibly Steelix for Rocks, look possibly Zoroark to play Mind Games, or look like possibly Swellow to pivot. Now, this set was purposefully built for something that didn't come. I remember that much. So it was my most expendable mon if I had to sack something. It did do okay against the Steelix, but it was really built with something else in mind, and it's bugging me that I can't remember. Lucario. This thing was built to 1v1 Lucario. That's what it was. It could take like Meteor Mashes for like 40% because it's a really physically defensive set. So that's why this was here. He leads with a Swallow, and I'm like, okay, yeah, he could just U-turn and really choke me down, but if he Boom Burst, I don't want to switch into anything else. And worse yet, if he's a Zoroark and he just goes for an SD thinking like, even if I Psychic him, he's going to be immune and catch me off guard, I am in a really bad position, or a Nasty Plot, I'm in a really bad position. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click U-turn. Yes, I might take big damage from the Swallow U-turn, but I am max Fizz Death, and Swallow, is, if it specs, isn't going to have much attack investment. It's probably going to be like Timid, so it's not going to do too much. So I just decided to go for the U-turn as he reveals Swords Dance, so screaming that he's Zoroark. We actually get the crit there, which is a little bit fortuitous. It doesn't matter too much, but it slightly changes how I play this a little bit. I go into Infernape, and I just want to scout for the Sucker Punch. He looks like I should have Mach Punch at that point. He's probably thinking, and like, well, he might have Sucker Punch, so let's just scout. It would make sense in an SD set to have Sucker Punch, but what I'm also hoping is that I might just be able to force this Zoroark out, because at 25%, if it switches out, it's essentially just sack fodder for him, and gives me a bit of initiative to see what I want to do. And I don't have to take any damage out of anything from this boosted Zoroark. But he does go for Sucker Punch, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. We'll just go into Mandibuzz, and we'll just click Brave Bird, I believe. He knocks off my leftovers, and I'm like, that's not the end of the world. No, we click U-turn. We click U-turn because that kills from this range, which is why the crit kind of helped. I would otherwise have had to stay in with Infernape, potentially. So that's why it was kind of useful. Although I don't think it was game-changing. And then we can U-turn out on the Dragonite. We can break his Multi Scale. We actually crit again that U-turn, which makes absolutely no difference. Because it still does like 4 damage. As he just goes straight up for the Supersonic Skystrike, and Big Steve eats that. So that's really, really nice. I don't think he'll stay in here, fearing the Ice Punch. So I'm just going to switch back out into Mandibuzz. If he does stay in, it's not the end of the world because Mandibuzz is bulky, but I think he'll go into Steelix. And if he goes into Steelix, I want to have Mandibuzz in to get rid of his rocks. I just decided to roost here to see what he wants to do. He goes for rocks, and I'm like, yep, that's what we expected. It's fine. I can't really touch this Steelix, but the Steelix can't really touch me. So I'm just like, well, we can play this game if you want. And he roars me out, and he roars me into slacking. I did consider just going for an Earthquake here, but he could read that and go Swallow or the Rotom Frost. So I'm just going to go back out into Mandibuzz. I like having Mandibuzz in this thing. I can just keep roosting, defogging, and we can just keep playing this game. And he can keep roaring me. Eventually, I'm going to get something in on the Steelix that I want to have in on the Steelix, or he's going to have to switch initiative. So we do get to roost, we do get to defog there, and he goes straight into Sylveon, which gives me Metagross. If he wants a Hyper Voice, I'm not going to take much, and he actually doubles into Mega Steelix. Really, really smart play on his end, because I don't really want to have this thing in on Mega Steelix, but I think he's going to Stealth Rock. I think he's going to try and Stealth Rock. From the pattern he's been playing, I don't think he's going to EQ there, so I risk it. Pretty brave play, but I want to make sure I get my rocks up. And we actually just go out into Mandibuzz here on the Roar, which sucks because I had an Earthquake there on the Roar. We would have been in a really good position. But he predicted me to switch, so nice play by him. But he roars me into Dutchman, which finally I get roared into a mon I actually want to have in on this thing. So I'm like, cool. Let me just hit Scold, because he doesn't really have great switch-ins to Scolds. Sylveon's his switch-in, and this set was designed to shut down Sylveon, so by all means switch it in. He goes in Sylveon, and I'm like, cool. Now let me click Taunt. This thing is essentially just worthless at that point. It can click Hyper Voice, but it's not going to do a lot. He's shown me that he's a bulky set from the Scold damage, so I'm like, yep, this is fine. I click Scold again. I should have clicked Hex there, but I didn't expect him to stay in after the taunt and just let me wear him down. Hyper Voice does very little, as you can see. We get a little bit back with leftovers, so I'm like, yeah, this is just fine. Here I decide to click Hex because I'm like, okay, clearly he's happy to stay in with this thing. Again, I should have just clicked Scold again. I wanted to catch this thing with a Scold, which is why I clicked it initially. It would have done slightly more damage. But he still is in range of 2 rounds of rocks, which is really nice. So I'm like, okay, if we can get rocks back up somehow, really good position. But I click Recover because I thought here he would Volt Switch. And I like live any hit from this thing. And I thought the way that Oscar plays, he likes to double, he likes to pivot. I thought he would Volt Switch there and try and get momentum against me rather than let me have momentum. So I just tried to recover off the Volt Switch. Because then again, he's in a position where Dutchman's happy to be in against anything else on his team. Unfortunately, I get it wrong, and he actually Volt Switches this turn. As I just click the Scold, so I'm like, god damn it, he got me. Never mind, it's okay, I'm just going to click Scold, Sylveon comes back in, I'm going to get Leftovers Recovery, that's fine, and actually, I should say that Volt Switch, when you saw it did 50%, what that means is that this is a modest max special attack Rotom, which I did not expect. We've seen that it's not Scarf, we've seen that it's not Specs because he changed his moves up. But also, I don't think we saw leftovers. In fact, we can check. Yeah, he didn't have leftovers. So I'm not entirely sure what this Rotom's item is. Really not too sure. But we're just going to click Taunt anyway on this Sylveon. If he goes back into Rotom, because I now know his EV spread, what's going to happen is that this leftovers is going to take me out of range of Thunderbolt. So I'm just going to click Recover this turn. No, I'm going to go into Celebi this turn. I do beg your pardon. I'm going to go into Celebi this turn and eat the Thunderbolt because I'm like, there's no need for me to stay with Jellicent. He's definitely clicking Thunderbolt this turn. And then I'm going to double into Big Steve in case he wants to click Blizzard. I haven't seen if he has Blizzard, but Big Steve will eat a Blizzard. He just goes out to Sylveon, which is perfect. Makes it look like I've done an amazing double, which I really hadn't. And I decided to go for the Meteor Mash. There's no reason for me to click anything else here. I definitely don't want to let this thing wish up on me. So we just click Meteor Mash. We get a little bit of chip on the Steelix, and that reveals that this is Fizz Def Steelix. That's the only way he gets that roll. He has to have at least some physical defense investment. So I'm like, okay, let's U-turn out, get a little bit more chip, go into Dutchman. We know that we wall this thing. Yes, he can get Stealth Rocks up. I think maybe here I should have gone into Mandibuzz, but my thinking is we've already seen he doesn't really have Scald switch-ins. Rotom isn't really a Scald switch-in, as you see here. It does do 33%, so that's why I wish I clicked Scald earlier instead of Hex. And I'm out of range of Thunderbolt, so I'm going to click Recover this turn and scout how he's playing, but he actually just goes straight up with the crit, which kills me, which does really suck, but it gets me getting Slacking, and I can click Pursuit, and now I don't have to worry about the 50-50s, because this thing, if it clicked Blizzard or Thunderbolt, beat like half my team. So I hated that. It was doing my head in, and this way is dead. I don't have to deal with it anymore 100% by clicking Pursuit. So I'm like, okay, we lose Jellicent to a crit. Really, really sucked to lose it to crit there, because like I said, I did recover, and then I would have pivoted out into Celebi, seeing that he was just intent on clicking that. I have to sack Mandibuzz here, because nothing wants to switch into a Boom Burst from Swellow. I maybe could have sacked Celebi, but Celebi, with it being Fizz Def, still does a job here. So he actually goes out into the Dragonite as I clicked U-turn, and I'm like, cool. This is actually a really good position because it's unboosted. I can go into Celebi, and hopefully I can scare it out. He might fear, like, Hidden Power Ice or whatever. And he just goes straight up for the Dragon Claw, and I'm like, okay, we've U-turned out to try and get momentum, get a little bit more chip on this thing, but that's fine. We'll go out into Slacking here. We know he's not Scarf, and he didn't go for the Dragon Dance. So I'm like, right, we know he's not Scarf because he clicked the Z move earlier. So I know I outspeed, and I know I 100% kill with Giga Impact here. So I just fire off the Giga Impact, and we miss. And I didn't even know Giga Impact would miss. So I wouldn't say I'm tilted at this point, but I'm a little bit gutted that my Jellicent got crit and we've missed the Giga Impact. I'm just like, oh man, that sucks. Here I have to just sack Slacking. There's like not a lot I can do. Or that turn I have to stay in and potentially sack Slacking. But when he goes for another Dragon Dance, I'm like, okay, he's going to click Fly. Like, he's 100% going to click Fly. And this is where I make my first mistake. Knowing that he was going to click Fly, I should have gone into Metagross. I didn't have to sack Celebi if he clicks Fly. But just in case he clicked Earthquake or anything else, like nothing else killed Slacking from that range. Only Fly killed me. So that's why I was like, he has to click Fly here. He doesn't want to take a Giga Impact. He has to click Fly. He gets out of my Giga Impact. I will then be loafing around. There's no way he clicks Dragon Dance again because I'll kill him. So he 100% clicks Fly because it gets him out of my loafing. You know, it pivots. Fly just pivots around as a 2-turn move around me loafing around. So he has to do it. But I screw up and I'm like, I'll sack Celebi to the Fly. I should have 100% got Metagross. It was a safer play, just in case, for some weird reason, he clicked Earthquake and let me kill this Dragonite. But nevertheless, what it means is that we lose Celebi for no real reason, which sucks, because Big Steve still comes in, still takes the Earthquake through the Shucker, and still just clicks Ice Punch, which we could have done... Well, actually, after the Fly damage, looking at it, if he'd got a Fly off on us, we wouldn't have lived the Earthquake. So, actually, I didn't misplay. To be fair. I thought I misplayed, but I didn't. Obviously, I knew that at the time, but I'm just an idiot trying to remember it. But there we go. So we do live the Earthquake, and we fire off the Ice Punch, and we kill that. We then just sack ourselves to the Swallow's U-turn because Big Steve does nothing at that point. At 5%, he dies to everything. And here we click Gunk Shot. This is the only way that we can win here. I'm going to go back a little bit. Once we live this and we kill this thing, I was too worried about me mis-explaining to explain properly the next bit. Once we kill this thing, Big Steve is essentially useless because we might be able to outspeed Sylveon and hit it, but we're going to take so much from rocks. And the chance of us getting back in on Sylveon for free and getting to hit it and him not just going into Steelix, which eats Meteor Mashes for days, are pretty slim. So I was like, I might as well sack this thing because nothing wants to come in on Swallow at all. Definitely neither of these two are worth sacking. So he U-turns here. And now he has nothing that he can go into that Infernape isn't happy with. And he goes into Sylveon. And I'm like, that's cool because I'm going to click Gunk Shot. And you're probably like, there's no way I can go Slacking because he definitely has Protect. We've already seen he's a Wish set, so he definitely has Protect. I don't think he wants to read that I have Gunk Shot and go into Steelix because this could easily be a this could easily be a Flare Blitz coming out. And the crucial thing is if he goes Steelix on this turn, when I click, if he clicks Protect on this turn when I click Gunk Shot, then I'm going to double back into Slacking because I'm going to predict him to then go Steelix as the safe play. And then Slacking can put more chip on the Steelix or anything else that wants to switch in. And then Flamethrower is looking like it might be able to win from the Infernape. So we're just going to play this bit of a pivot game. I'm just going to click Gunk Shot as I think he thinks he can maybe take a hit from me and Wish Up. Not maybe realizing that I have Gunk Shot, but we do just kill him. It gives him his Steelix for free. I know that Slacking can take any hit from the Steelix, so I'm like, that's fine. And here, because I don't know if the Swallow's taken any damage or not, but at the minute, basically, I'm looking at Scarf Infernape, like, Flamethrower can maybe win. Focus Blast definitely wins here. Like, Scarf Focus Blast just wins now that the Sylveon's gone. So even if he killed my my Slacking, it wouldn't matter too much. But the best thing I can do is not click Earthquake because that gets the Swallow in for free. The best thing I can do is click Boom Burst because that way... Boom Burst. I get Giga Impact because that way I only have to land one Focus Blast. If I click Earthquake and he goes Swallow, then I gain nothing because I have to land two Focus Blasts. If I click Giga Impact and he stays in, then I still have to land two Focus Blasts. It doesn't really matter. The only way this benefits me is if he tries to sack the Swallow because he thinks that he can 1v1 the Infernape because he thinks I'm physical. So, because he's physical defense Steelix, and that's exactly what he does do. He decides to go into Swallow thinking, well, he can 1v1 my Infernape because he thinks my Infernape is physical because I could Gunk Shot and U-turn so far. So I'm like, right, we've successfully bluffed with the mix set. Everything's working how I kind of want it to. Here, he should always just kill me on my turn where I'm recharging. And I'm in a really good spot now where, I mean, maybe I could have clicked Facade, to be fair. If I clicked Facade, then what would have happened? Swallow probably wouldn't have died. If Swallow had died to the Facade, then I could have pivoted into Wukong on the Earthquake and died. And then I couldn't beat him with Slacking. So yeah, Giga Impact was always my best play. So I'm like, okay, here we just have to land the Focus Blast and we win. And we miss the Focus Blast and he EQs. And we lose. So we lose 1-0 in the first round of playoffs. And as I say, I feel like I played my outs this endgame. Scarf Infernape won if it landed a Focus Blast. I made sure I didn't have to land two Focus Blasts. So I tried to make the odds in my favor. But it just feels like such an anticlimactic ending to this amazing game because we really both played well in this game. We were pivoting around, we were in each other's heads, we had Z-moves popping off on reads, we had, resist berries coming through, he made some really nice doubles, he put in work with a modest Rotom, and then we dropped to the missed Focus Blast. Just feels like such an anticlimax, but that's how it goes sometimes. That's Pokemon. Missing the Giga Impact against the Dragonite sucked because it meant that I had to start sacking things to the Dragonite and taking more damage on things. So that was horrendous because that Giga Impact always killed that Dragonite. So that was really bad. One thing that I would say is it might have allowed his Sylveon to come in and start Wish Passing, which would also have sucked, or wishing itself back up, although then I would have had a healthy Steelix. So swings and roundabouts, I guess. So that was really hard to kind of explain properly. A 10% miss just sucks because it sucks, but I don't think we can rightfully say it changed the game. I got a crit on my U-turn on the Zoroark early on. Again, I don't think we can rightfully say that changed the game because it's just too early. The only thing that I can say that changed the result is me missing Focus Blast, but it's a 70% accurate move. You miss Focus Blast. That's what Focus Blast does. It's called Focus Miss for a reason. So I'm not remotely salty, and I don't think we should feel that way. I don't think we should feel hard done by. I missed a 70% accurate move. Had I ran Fire Blast over Flamethrower, had I ran Fire Blast over Flamethrower, or even Fire Blast over Focus Blast, because I didn't need Focus Blast. I realized that when I looked back at the game. I was like, what did Focus Blast hit that Fire Blast didn't? Like nothing. So had I been a little bit smarter and run Fire Blast, I still would have got all the rolls that I needed to, and I still would have had a 15% more chance to land the Fire Blast here and kill the Steelix because it was just out of flamethrower range, so I couldn't go for the flamethrower. Even if I landed the flamethrower and like burnt, he would have died, but he would have killed me first with the earthquake, so it wouldn't have mattered. So we would have just had an 0-0 loss. So it just really sucked. I was just put in a position where I had to land Focus Blast, and I think I misprepped slightly because yes, Fire Blast still could have missed, but it would have been more likely to land. So that's how it goes. That's Pokemon. GG to my man Oscar. I think he played superbly, and I think he was good value for his win. Like I say, I'm not trying to take anything away from him. He made some really nice doubles, and he brought a really good Rotom Rotom Frost set. That's the only complaint that I kind of have, and it's my fault for not looking it up. But the doc said Rotom F. I just feel like that was really ambiguous, and it put me in a really crappy position because I didn't have switch-ins to Rotom Frost because Ice coverage kind of did, Ice plus Electric coverage did a number on what I brought, and I might have brought something different had I known that he had that. But that's how it goes. That's life. I could have double-checked his team page to see for sure. Instead, I just assumed when I saw Rotom F, Rotom Fan, so I'm by no means blaming anyone that looks after Doc or anything like that. I'm just saying that's the one thing that I do feel a little bit like, ugh, that's irritating because I should have double-checked when I saw Rotom F. I should have been like, oh, which Rotom F? There's no reason to assume Fan. Fan isn't any more drafted than Frost. Like, it was just something that went in my head and it happened, so there we go, guys. That's it anyway. I've rambled on for far too long, as I always do. GG to my man, Oscar. As I've said, this was, I think, an amazing playoff game. Let me know what you guys think, but I genuinely think this was a really good playoff game, a game worthy of being in playoffs, and hopefully we can get him back next time. I'm sure you guys have seen my owl battle against him by now, so we are now, unfortunately, 2-1 negative against him, or 1-2, I should say. 1 win to 2 losses against Oscar. So the next time I get him, I want to make that even. I want to go 2-2. I don't like being negative against people. So hopefully we can sort that out the next time we play him, but who knows. GG to him. And thank you guys so much for loafing around with me. I'll catch you again next time.